On the heels of Kathleen Kennedy's imminent departure, new details of Andor's Season 2, the notoriously expensive streaming series on Disney Plus, have been revealed. Let's talk about the Star Wars series that no one watched, yet received a second season, culminating in a price tag larger than an upcoming Universal park in Texas, here on That Park Place.
There's something that I want to point out, and I think that I sent the story to Marvin, and I'm not getting on Marvin for this on the stream. I don't want anybody to think that is what I'm doing here, but it is worth pointing out something about a series that I don't think anyone is going to be watching. This news comes on the heels of the new Andor trailer, and the fact that Andor is returning for its final season, otherwise known as Season 2, and the 12-episode season is going to be released in 4 3-episode chapters, and each 3-episode chapter, or however they're going to refer to this, is releasing over 4 weeks: April 22nd, April 29th, May 6th, and May 13th. By the way, one of those is 2 days after Star Wars Day, so okay, you could do a big show on Star Wars Day, and that would actually make sense, but instead they are doing 3 hours or so of Andor 4 weeks in a row. I don't think they have confidence in Andor here. What do you guys think?
I don't think they have an astounding amount of confidence either. I mean, the debut of the previous season, I mean, it just really was a dud upon its release right there, and that's what, with 3 separate episodes that were released upon its initial launch right there. This is a very expensive show, like very, very expensive. Obviously, they want to maximize and get as much back as possible, but I with the performance numbers of the first season, I don't know how anybody can be confident going into the second. Now, it may be, hey, people pick it up later on and said, hey, you know what, this is actually pretty good. And maybe you do have a larger percentage of the population more excited about Andor than they previously had been. But I'm just not seeing that. Now, what's very interesting about this is that I guess the season spans 4 years, and there's supposed to be like a time jump about a year or so every single 3 episodes, which is a bit unusual.
Yeah, so that makes sense to me when we start hearing about the idea that this was supposed to be a 5-season venture here, and if they're doing 4 chapters, if they're basically covering 4 more seasons, since there was a season 1 already, if they're trying to cover each one of those seasons in each one of these chapters, it sounds more like they are making 4 Andor movies, which I don't know. Why not release these into theaters at this point? I mean, they wouldn't perform that well, but do some kind of advertising push, put them in, like, see if you can get them into even limited release here, 1 per city or something like that. But I do not understand. This is the most critically acclaimed thing that Star Wars Lucasfilm has done in the last, what are we now, 13? Yeah, 13 years of Kathleen Kennedy. There's luck for you, being the head of Lucasfilm now. From everything I've heard, the show is actually good. Doesn't necessarily feel very Star Wars in that trailer. That trailer that they released yesterday, there's a lot of rock music in it, and I don't hate the rock music, and I don't hate the trailer, but it definitely doesn't feel Star Wars culture.
Dude, that was Guardians of the Andor.
All right,
that's what it felt like to me. Yeah, you know, and then I like the original thumbnail that I had put together puts Doctor Strange's medallion around what's his name's chest, Cassian's chest, and I'm thinking this is perfect, and you know, so but I think that's what it struck me as. I was like, this is Guardians. They're trying to present this as Guardians, or maybe like the original Flash movie with the Queen soundtrack. I was thinking, like, this is a very strange vibe for a Star Wars thing.
I need to look here. It's 1.27 is the Great British Pounds to USD rate at the moment. I'm going to update my chart here. Yeah, just going to point out that currently 502 million pounds, actually 500 to 791,000 pounds here. So almost 503 million pounds is what they have spent on this show. And if you want to go with real American money there, that is $640 million that they have spent on Andor season 1 and 2 at this point. So we get on Amazon for the amount of money that they have spent on Rings of Power right now. But there's two things I'll say in their defense. They are a $1 trillion company over there at Amazon, and they're not hurting for money. Disney, despite being, I think they're at 200 billion. I don't know. It could be less today, depending on the stock price. They're more like a $200 billion company. So when you talk about spending the better part of $1 billion on a show that no one is watching, and you dump it onto streaming just to get it out there. By the way, I'll explain why they're releasing it in this way in just a moment, because it's twofold. By the way, it's 197 billion. That's the current valuation of the Walt Disney Company by market cap. This is giving up here. So this show being dumped on streaming right before the rumor comes out that Kathleen Kennedy is retiring. I think that this is like, okay, Kathy, get out. The Rey movie does not appear to be happening anytime soon, if it's happening at all. If it ends up being that it's a Bob Iger project, okay, it'll eventually happen. Someday there will be a director who is like, you know what, let me shine this up for you. I've got some ideas on how to fix your character, and there might be a Rey movie sometime down the path. The next thing coming is the Mando movie. I don't even care about the other stuff. Dawn of the Jedi, I think, jumped ahead of the Rey movie at this point. We professionally are supposed to be tracking all this, and I can't seem to care what's going on with Star Wars, and I think that is the biggest rejection at this point. Vash,
this Mandalorian Grogu, I guess we're still calling it right now, it comes out May 22nd, right, of 2026. A lot of naysayers, when hearing the Kathleen Kennedy news, were like, well, wait a minute, why would she leave right before the release of that specific film right there? I actually do question that myself. Culture, do you have any theories as to why she would make her exit at that time?
Look, I thought her last hurrah would be this dumb television streaming thing, but no, technically it will be this Grogu Mando thing that I think will be a disaster also, but there's no buzz for it. So perhaps that might be why. I don't know. Vash, the timing on this is strange, although she has been getting a lot of, hey, you did a great job in your career awards. So yeah, I have no explanation, my friend.
Doesn't that feel like a win, Kathy? Oh my. Her and Frank go retire somewhere, really wait until they've lived off whatever happened at the Twilight Zone set.
Here's your glass ceiling award.
She didn't shatter the glass ceiling. She shattered one of the unbreakable franchises. Now, that being said, I do want to point out why they would do 3 hours of Star Wars every week. April 22nd. I'm going to assume that's a Wednesday. I don't know. Somebody check me on that if they really want to. But the reason they would do 3 hours is so they can have the best chance possible of hitting that minimum threshold of actually appearing on the streaming charts. You guys might not be aware of this, but according to Luminate, I mean, Vash and Culture are aware of this. Luminate released a report. That's Variety's tracking software.
But yeah, it's Variety's Parrot Analytics is what that is.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this off the top of your head, but Skeleton Crew was actually beaten by season 3 or 4 of The Bad Batch as far as ratings go.
And it ran the entire time it ran. It never once appeared in the Nielsen top 10.
Never once. Ooh. And of course, Bad Batch season 3, there was not enough rewatching of that to put that in the streaming charts either. So it just bottomed out and never made it to the charts. And the way that Disney formulates everything they do is headline chasing. So that is the only value that this served to the Disney company, was to get them a headline so that they could say, oh, it's the biggest this, it's the biggest that. They couldn't even say that it was better than their continuation of the Clone Wars animated series with The Bad Batch. And, I didn't have a problem with the first season of The Bad Batch. Omega got on my nerves a little bit, so maybe I was a little slow on the rewatches there. But, and I wouldn't say that Skeleton Crew is altogether bad, but it doesn't really feel like Star Wars. And I can't wait to get a Star Wars that feels like Star Wars again.
I just hope that Star Wars' future is brighter than where it is now. I don't think there's much enthusiasm for Andor, certainly not any enthusiasm for Skeleton Crew or some of these other shows that have been releasing on Disney Plus. Whoever does step into the big shoes left behind by Kathleen Kennedy, and
I'll do it.
I say that because yeah, she was very good at destroying an entire franchise. Whoever steps in is going to have to clean this slate, I think. And I don't know, maybe retcon a few things. I'm not sure what you do at this point, but a lot of big changes certainly are warranted.
Well, and I only hope that not only with this being the real deal this time, I hope that they decide that they bring Star Wars back to the heroes side of the equation and stop celebrating the villains. If you're running the Star Wars, you don't want to have the Palpatines win in the end. We need to scrub the sequel trilogy from existence and try again.
That's true.
Star Wars is better.
A social climber getting up in the ranks of the rebellion, and then getting the rebellion to take out Palpatine, and then her taking on the name of Skywalker, becoming, as far as the galaxy is concerned, she's descended from a line of heroes. That's classic Palpatine right there. Yep. Palpatine.
Well, it's classic neo-Marxism.
That's right. Name it and claim it. By the way, if they didn't insert the shot of Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher there at the end, it totally reads as like, what are you doing here? Like, I bet that was added in the last. So like, it's a little weird that she decides to take on their name. Dragon Queen for $5. When KK is out the door, I'll throw a party at Pro's place. She don't tell Pro. Well, he's going to be talking about this, and we'll be expanding what we talk about. I talked to him earlier today about what he's intending there. Kanan Barnes for $5. One of the biggest crimes in the beginning was hiring the guy who made a Star Trek film. Wars and Trek do not mix. It's very true. Despite being in what you would consider a sci-fi setting, despite both being technically sci-fi, one is more like a space opera, one is a fantasy film set in a futuristic setting, and the other is science fiction. There's a difference in those two genres. So totally correct there, Kanan. Brian Shalito for $4.99, but it's a whole nother year. It's only one more season. Thank you very much.
That's so funny.
That is such a great classic line, man.
That's great.
Wow.
Looks like I'm going nowhere. Here, Park Pulse for $5. The only way they could revive Star Wars is redo the original trilogy. What did you just say? And with new actors, and then go from there. Stop all other spin-offs. Yeah, I think the biggest problem with doing a Star Wars remake is that everyone has been watching, well, until recently, Star Wars and then Empire and Return of the Jedi on repeat. So it's been so in the cultural consciousness for so long that everyone is aware when they make the slightest change. So I think people were very quick to notice that Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy was nothing like Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy. I don't know. This is the kind of idea where, like, I react poorly to it. I kind of wince at the idea of them remaking Star Wars. It would have to be someone amazing and not anything to do with Lucasfilm in order for me to enjoy something like that on more than just an academic level. Hey, Tom F., one of our wrenches out there. Thank you, Tom. She needs to leave before Gina's case causes things to let loose here.
Darn it. That's actually, I dropped that during the 6-minute daily. It's going to be part of the video that I'm going to drop later today. But I believe that a lot of her leaving this time is because of the Gina Carano discovery that's about to fall. So.
Yeah, I think her leaving the company is not going to let her off the defendant list here.
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm just saying that it will lessen the embarrassment that Disney has to absorb when these details come out, if they do. This train only stops if there's a settlement, and I don't think there's going to be a settlement, Jonas.
I don't think there is, but if they offer her Lucasfilm, yeah, she should take that. Did you guys hear the big news? Oh my.
What?
Is there more? Is there more big news? By the way, this is the thing that I was referring to here. This is what Gina Carano is tweeting out this morning. And bad. I'm excited for her more than anyone else. All right.
I think 15 minutes ago, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, will return to theaters on April 25th to celebrate the film's 20th anniversary. Perhaps
That's the big news.
To go see that in theaters. I have a feeling that's not what Pro's talking about, though.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.